Hello traders, my name is Tomasz Wiśniewski. I'm a chief analyst in Alpari Research and Analysis, and this is daily analytical report where I will show you the best trading occasions on the market, and we'll try to look for decent trading setups. And I think that I have few interesting occasions for you, especially that today we do have a super busy day in terms of the macro data. Look at this calendar, it's packed. Even if we will limit ourselves only to the most important data, here we can see that Thursday is really super busy. So first we started with the job data from Australia, which came better than expectations, much better data from Australia, and we saw a movement on the Australian dollar, upswing on the Australian dollar, which for example denied our bearish setup on the Australian dollar to Japanese yen. Did not deny our trade because we didn't have a trader, but denied our nice bearish setup there. So that is the data from Australia. What else? We are waiting. In 2 hours we'll find out the rate decision from Bank of England. Definitely interesting data for the British pound, also monetary policy summary. And that's not it with central banks, because in 2 hours 42 minutes we will have interest rate decision, deposit rate decision from ECB, from European Central Bank. Obviously it will be with press conference here. Also we got data from Australia, UK, Eurozone, and obviously we need something from United States, and we'll get inflation, CPI, super important data for the interest rates in US. Also housing data from Canada, but with the importance of that data from Canada can be just ignored, but we'll see what is going to happen. On Friday we'll follow that up with data from UK, with speech from Mark Carney, and retail sales from US, also industrial production. So today is one of the busiest days that I remember in the past few months, and definitely as volatility is still going to increase on many instruments. But okay, let's check the charts. And on the charts we start with British pound to Canadian dollar, where we really had a nice trading setup here. So 2 shooting stars on a horizontal resistance and dynamic downtrend line. The price did not follow that and broke the resistance, but this can be considered as a false breakout, especially that the price in the past 2 days is going down. I said that the proper sell signal will be triggered when we'll break the orange area. I don't have a sell signal, I don't have a short position here, but what the price is doing now is having a sideways trend on a support. If that support supposed to be strong, we should see a reversal here, but we are not seeing a reversal so far. The price is struggling, so I think that we can get a further drop. I'm sorry, we have to stop for a little bit. Okay, I'm sorry, we're back. So the end of the story here on British pound to Canadian dollar is that the breakout of the lower orange line will bring us a nice sell signal. British pound to Japanese yen. Here the British pound is going higher, and that's the reason why the British pound to Canadian dollar is not having a proper sell signal, because British pound in overall is quite strong. So British pound to Japanese yen, I said that the breakout of the orange area will bring us a sell signal, but it's not happening. We are aiming higher, and here the British pound to Japanese yen will have a buy signal once we will break this upper red line, but fortunately the bearish setup here got cancelled. It would be nice to see the breakout of the orange area. That would be more technical here. British pound to American dollar. So here the price is, well, the price broke the midterm downtrend line, is fighting on this horizontal resistance. It looks good for the buyers. This constant pressure on the resistance looks good for the buyers. This defense, this double bottom formation here looks good for the buyers. So the sentiment on the British pound to American dollar is rather positive. Bitcoin. So Bitcoin denied this descending triangle pattern, and instead of breaking the lower line of this pattern as was expected according to the technical analysis rules, Bitcoin broke the horizontal support here. So this horizontal support here, and instead of that the price went significantly higher. There's still no buy signal here, because in my opinion for the buy signal we need to see the breakout of the upper white line. We do not have this, so buy signal here is not happening yet. Gold had a false breakout of this neckline and the lower line of this pennant. As it usually happens with the false breakout, it gives the movement in the opposite direction, and that's what's happening here. We have a movement in the opposite direction, and the price broke the upper line of this pennant, but we're challenging now 23.6, and price being below 23.6 is still negative, but price going back above 23.6 will be a nice buy signal. We have a potential target on 38.2, and actually we have high chances for that. We have high chances for the price of getting there. Australian dollar to Japanese yen. So this is the setup that got denied because of the positive. Well, it got denied before here, but here is the reaction on the data from Australia. So here we had a beautiful flag, and we are below the downtrend line, we are below the horizontal resistance. It all got broken yesterday. This one is still here because it is a legitimate support, and this one is still here because it was also a support. So now the price is aiming the major resistance here. That can also be an interesting occasion to sell, especially if we will place the downtrend line here. You will see we can use white color. This downtrend line here. Price getting to this resistance will be an interesting occasion to go short. Still, because you can see okay, here support, resistance, support, resistance, and the resistance most probably. S&P 500 still positive. We were talking about this here, but the price went down, but that was a small pullback. We are still above the upper line of the flag, which is positive. We are still above long-term uptrend line, which is positive. We are still above the horizontal support, which is very, very positive. So we should see the price getting higher and higher and higher. Euro to Japanese yen, breakout from this wedge pattern or a flag. and the price is aiming higher, but for the proper buy signal we need to see the breakout of the blue area, and the breakout of the blue area will be really a good trading opportunity. New Zealand dollar to Canadian dollar. Not much to add here. The sentiment is very, very negative. We had this symmetric triangle pattern. We broke the lower line of this pattern, tested that as a resistance. We broke the horizontal support, and the price went lower. Now we're having a small correction, and actually this correction can be an invitation for the sellers. They can sell with higher prices. It's hard to tell where this correction can go. There's this resistance area right here, and here. Price getting there, that will be an interesting occasion to go short. American dollar to Japanese yen. That's rather a wide wedge. We have more chances for the breakout of the upper line of the wedge, and that would be a nice buy signal when the price will break the upper line of the wedge. Unfortunately, straight after the breakout, we need to challenge this horizontal resistance. Later, we'll have to challenge this horizontal resistance. It would be definitely much easier for the price to bounce from this and go lower, because then the next support is here, or the lower line of the wedge. So definitely in terms of the risk to reward ratio, it would be easier for the price to go lower. Euro to British pound. So this calendar today is very, very busy. If you like to risk money, you like the thrill, those emotions that come together with the higher volatility from the data, then Euro to British pound is an instrument for you today. Why? Because we will have interest rate decision from both those banks. And what the technical analysis is telling us here is that the price should continue to go down. Why? Well, as you can see, we do have a long-term head and shoulder pattern, and the price already broke the long-term uptrend line, this longer wide, and the neckline here, and we broke that at the end of the last week. Then we tested both as resistances at the beginning of the week, and then the price went lower, aiming horizontal support on 0.888, this blue line. Over this support, the price created a pennant with those orange lines. Pennant is a trend continuation pattern, and pennant should result with a further drop. What we need to see here is the breakout of this horizontal support, as the breakout of this lower line of the pennant, and price closing below the lower line of the pennant and price closing below this support will be an interesting and a very good occasion to sell. On the other hand, I think it's pretty safe to claim that the resistance is here, or even like that. Price climbing back above the orange area will be a signal to go long. Now DAX. DAX for the past few days, let's say, was on a super important support. And DAX and the next instrument, WTI oil, is rather a safe option for today. For today's data shouldn't be strongly influential on the movements on the largest index from Frankfurt. What do we have here is a long-term head and shoulder pattern. This formation started in February 2017. and most recently the price aimed the long-term neckline, this lower blue line. The price closing a day and a week below that area would be a super strong sell signal. Buyers are doing everything to avoid that, and they are defending the neckline, but it's not the end yet. Price can aim this resistance, then come back. Price can aim this lower line and come back. And with every comeback, the breakout is probable. About the possibility, that's the other thing, but it's probable, it's definitely probable. This bearish pattern will stop being a huge danger for the sellers when the price will break this upper white line. As long as we stay below this line, we still have to be aware of the fact that the price can continue to go down. So definitely that is a bearish pattern, that is a bearish situation. We have to be aware that the sell signal in those patterns are triggered only with the breakout of the neckline. So as long as we are above the neckline, you cannot open the position prematurely. Well, obviously you can do everything, right? You can do everything what you want, but according to the technical analysis rules, that is not advisable to do this. WTI oil, also rather a safe option for today's movements. And here there is a pretty amazing situation. So first of all, we do have this head and shoulder pattern, left shoulder, head and right shoulder. We can have a head and shoulder here, left shoulder, head and right shoulder, or triple top formation here. But in the same time, part of the head and the right shoulder is inverse head and shoulder. So left shoulder, head and right shoulder. So here we have two necklines. This is the neckline of the head and shoulder pattern, this lower blue, and this upper blue is the neckline of the inverse head and shoulder formation. And in the same time, we do have a triangle here, lower line of the triangle, upper line of the triangle. So in terms of the oil, we do have two options. Only two options, because here the volatility drops and we eventually should see the breakout. So price getting to the checkpoint here will be a super strong buy signal. Price closing a day on this checkpoint will be a super strong buy signal, and price closing a day below this horizontal support, let me draw that with a higher accuracy like that, will be a strong sell signal. Simple as that. This is how the situation on the oil, WTI oil, looks like. American dollar to Canadian dollar. So those trade talks, Donald Trump saying that trade talks in NAFTA are going well. This killed the buy signal on American dollar to Canadian dollar. The buy signal was present here. Instead of that, instead of climbing higher, instead of bouncing from 50% Fibonacci where we had a small stop, the price broke the upper line of the flag and went lower, canceling this situation. I told you that there is a positive sentiment here. Well, we can get a positive sentiment here, but for this we need to see the breakout of the blue line, and this is exactly where we stopped. So breakout alone of this white line was not enough. I placed that here. The price getting there would be a nice buy signal. The price did not break this level, which gave us a sell signal. And now look at this downswing correction, downswing. This is typical correction. This is not a reversal situation. So this looks like an invitation to go further south, which would be in line with all this false breakout here. So the situation is definitely negative. We are very close to the major uptrend line. Let's do it like this. Situation here is rather negative. Silver is pretty interesting because look at this, downswing, correction, downswing, correction, downswing, correction, downswing, and that's more like a double top formation, a double bottom formation, I'm sorry. First step towards the double bottom formation was made. The price broke the neckline of this formation and defended that as a support. First bottom, second one, double bottom formation. But there is another resistance here. There is one here. There is one here. Which makes this situation a little bit more complicated. And there is a downtrend line here. So the proper, super important long-term buy signal will be created when the price will get to the checkpoint. As for now, the price is not there, so the buy signal is not fully here. I guess that is pretty clear. Euro dollar is having a positive situation even despite this drop here. Why? Well, we defended this long-term neckline, which is not only the neckline of this head and shoulder formation, but this neckline of this head and shoulder formation, so this line. So it was, it is, and it will be important definitely in the next few days. Left shoulder head and right shoulder. The real cancellation of this pattern was not the bounce here, but was the breakout of this line which connected the top of the head and the top of the right shoulder. So here we do have a buy signal, but the proper, really super strong buy signal will be triggered when the price will break the upper blue line. So price getting here will be a strong buy signal. American dollar to Swiss franc still locked inside of the sideways trend, but the sideways trend can result with an inverse head and shoulder formation or can result with a rectangle pattern. What's the difference? Well, rectangle is a trend continuation pattern, so it can result with a drop, and inverse head and shoulder formation is a bullish pattern, which should result with a further upswing. So for the situation here, we need to still wait a little bit. And British pound to New Zealand dollar, you see, I was waiting for an upswing, but I saw a chance for a correction. I thought that the correction would go a bit deeper, maybe it will, but now the British pound is pushing higher. That's bad. They should test this level and then push higher. So for now, no. For now we still do have a buy signal, but obviously it would be much better to buy with lower prices, right? Seems pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So let's do a short recap here. British pound to Canadian dollar, breakout of this lower dynamic line, sell signal, but the British pound is on the rise right now. British pound, Japanese yen, contact with this line and a bearish formation, that will be a sell signal. Cable, that's rather positive. Bitcoin, positive in the short term. And gold, positive when the price will break the 23.6. Australian dollar to Japanese yen, positive, but possibly a great sell setup here. S&P 500 positive, euro to Japanese yen positive, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar positive short term, negative long term, American dollar, Japanese yen positive, euro to British pound negative, DAX positive short term, that's the end. Oil waiting, American dollar to Canadian dollar negative, silver can be very positive soon, euro dollar positive, American dollar, Swiss franc, no one knows. British pound to New Zealand dollar positive. So that is the situation on the market right now. I hope you enjoy that. And remember, today is super busy in terms of the macro calendar. So watch out on this hour and a half. An hour and a half it will all start. So be aware of this. Thanks very much, guys. See you soon. And in the meantime, visit our Twitter account, our website, apart.news, our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, everything. All the best, guys.